All right, hello there and welcome. In this particular tutorial right here, I shall be teaching you how to create deepfake footage. Now, I've already done and posted a bunch of videos in about 48 hours, and I did this quite some time ago, but I still have the data to show related to this. But the types of videos that we're about to create here is the result of them. At one point, I was averaging like 50,000 uh, views every day. And all right, let me check this out. I could have gone more viral, but this channel has been shadow banned because pretty much I didn't follow the rules when it comes to posting. I think I posted something like 24 videos in one day, which kind of got YouTube into thinking that this channel is a bot channel. But I got a example to show you. This one is didn't do as much as it should, like 35,000, but again, it's only 10 seconds. And besides, you could go viral with this if you have a channel that is in good health. As long as the channel is in good health, you could. Now there is some music that I shouldn't listen to. It's copyrighted. All right, let me just try to deactivate it. I don't think I can actually, but the bottom line is that it's working. Okay, and I've seen a bunch of people do this, and it's working for them as well. So right now, let's get into it. So how can you create some fake footage? Now, if you go online, for instance, you'll find there's a lot of fake footage. Like for example, this one. All right, this is a fake footage. If you want to, let's just say take this image, which is definitely AI, and turn it into like a realistic a video, you can do so by copying this image, going to Sora 2. And I'm talking about Sora 2, not the other version of Sora. I'm talking about the Sora that is capable of doing this, for example.
Hey, back off!
Thanks. I thought I was done for.
You're safe now. Let's get you out of here.
This is an example of what Sora can do. For example,
I'll
here,
be honest. How's it feel?
an
It's solid, man. Like,
advertisement
really
of
solid. Feels
Sora's
super real.
hammer.
Is it heavy?
Kinda, yeah, just enough. Makes me feel like
All right.
Thor.
So now enough of that. Let me show you a example footage. For instance, let me just deactivate the sound. We don't need to see the sound. And by the way, if you want to remove like the watermark, I'll show you, but let's watch this video first. And you can see that that actually looks like it's the real thing. Looks like it's a real person, a real footage. Now, that alone is pretty good. And now, other things that you can do is you can combine multiple footage videos into one big video, and you can rank them. You can do like a ranking system, like top 5, for example, top 5 most viral footage. Now, this website here is called Bilo AI. Okay, Bilo. Now, before I show you its magic, let me just stop sharing the screen for a moment here. And I need to show you its magic. Okay. So the magic of this tool, now let me just go back, share the screen, and let me show you the thing. So here we go. Now, if you wish to remove the watermark off a video, for example, that is made with Sora, first of all, you need to post your video, okay? Then second of all, after posting that video, you need to go and find the video you posted and copy a share link. Then come right over here to Bilo and paste that share link and then submit. Now, you can do 5 videos for free using the Bilo free membership. But if you want more, you're going to have to get more. Now, in my case, I have 300 tokens, which will enable me to generate 150 or remove 150 watermarks from 150 different videos. But that is because I have the $10 monthly plan. But you can do it for free for, like if you have 3 or 4 emails, try creating a free account with each. That gives you access to like 5 watermark removals per email. And if we watch this video now, you can see that this has no watermark right now. There is no watermark at all. and you can see that it looks like the man is fending off the lion. It's fighting the lioness actually. You can see it's almost like he was sleeping and then woke up, figured, oh my goodness, there's a lioness there. He just was shocked. The lioness, well, surprisingly, didn't attack, and then he just went and he pushed the lioness backward. Not, of course, that's completely fake, but there's a market for this. Now, here, this is an image again. So if I were to copy this image and come to Sora, first you need to select the portrait orientation, and then I usually would go for 15 seconds to create a bigger video. And then if I were to paste the image, you don't need to do anything. You can just paste the image and click on the generate button, in which case Sora is actually going to proceed, and by itself it's going to figure out the best way to animate that video, okay? The best way to make that video into a pretty cool video. All right, like for instance, in my case right here, I even used it to make like a Gillette advertisement of using a gorilla as the mascot. Let me show you.
Silverback wants to feel silky smooth. With Gillette's 5-blade precision, the jungle's toughest face becomes baby soft. No nicks, no tug, just glide. Because when you head into the day feeling this good, nobody messes with you, man or beat. Some mornings,
That's kind of hilarious if you want to know the truth. But that's just one of the things you can do. For example, here is another example. I speak by Dr. Dre, but I use a gorilla to advertise the product. Well, that's some of the things you can do with Sora, of course. But now it's working on generating that video, and while it's working on generating that video, let me share with you some extra tips. Now, if you take this image, for example, let's take this image as a practice. You can find it by searching lion, homeless man footage, street, night. That will show you, this. This is just, I think it's fake. Even the original one is fake, because how can a lioness be right there? Now, if I come to Gemini, I use the create image option, which unlocks Nano Banana, and then I'll use the pro version of Gemini. Now, if I were to paste this image, I could apply some modifications on the image. You can change the lioness into a hyena. So I'm going to say change the lioness into a hyena. If you don't want the hyena, I'm sorry, if you don't want the lioness, if you want to diversify. And it's going to use Nano Banana Pro. All right, so here you can see that it did replace the lioness with a hyena. The only issue is that the hyena is not the type of hyena that I want. So I'm going to be specific, let's say into a spotted hyena instead of a hyena, a bear hyena, so that you can see that the notations and the words actually matter a lot to Gemini. So it generated the hyena, but it picked the other one, the other type, the smaller one, also with a bit of fur. They exist in the desert, and also not in the desert. I think they exist in some countries, like in some African countries, and they live in the forest and some other places. Now you can see that right now we got a hyena instead of a lion or a lioness. While that video is still in process, I could copy this right over here, and I could paste this into Gemini to let it work on. Now, of course, you can do other modifications as well. So if you want like some other animal besides the hyena, just replace that here. Change the lioness into like a male lion or a tiger or a crocodile, a bear, a polar bear, whatever it is that you seek to modify. Now, there are a lot of really weird things that you can do as well. For example, here, let's say kangaroo boxing or a kangaroo fight. Now, supposing there is a kangaroo fighting a kangaroo. Now there is this footage right here, and it shows like a guy punching a kangaroo. I kind of saw this uh, quite some time ago. But there are other things that you can do. You can take images and then you can apply some other modifications to. All right. For instance, I could take a kangaroo, an image where there is one kangaroo, and I can make it seem like that kangaroo is actually fighting a human or some other animal. Now, over here, we have some pictures. I'd like to find some pretty real pictures here. This one, I think this one is real. Surprising how kangaroo looks like a llama. Okay, so let's say I take this image and I go to Gemini onto a new chat, of course, and I go to the pro version of Nano Banana, and then I paste this image. I could do some crazy things like saying, you know, pretty much, okay, well, add I don't know, a wolf. Not a wolf. Does the wolf exist in the kangaroo's world? I don't know, but add a bear in the background hunting the kangaroo without the kangaroo noticing. Okay, so without the kangaroo noticing, we could make it seem like there's a bear hunting it behind or hunting it from behind. In the meantime, I want to go and check my Sora videos because I think that some of them are already cooked. Like this one, for example. Notice
I'm not here to hurt you.
it didn't
That's
turn
right.
out how I wanted.
Stay calm. We'll both go our own way.
But it's not bad still. It didn't turn out how I wanted it to be because there was some blur that makes it look like it's from another dimension or the image is from another dimension. That can happen. That's why very good quality images are necessary. And that's why you can also create your own images. But before creating our own images, let us think about some other cool stuff, okay, that we can apply. So, for example, right here, notice that there was a kangaroo, okay? That's the original image. There was only a kangaroo, okay? But in the actual edited image, what we did is we added like a bear stalking the kangaroo without the kangaroo noticing, okay? Which is impossible because the kangaroo will notice just by the ears. It will be able to hear the bear's tracks on the ground, okay? So it's impossible for it to not notice. But assuming it didn't notice, let me show you some of the amazing footage you can create. But here we have one on already, hyena. Let's see what it does. It's just smelling the person and then leaves. That's pretty interesting. All right, well, that is a pretty interesting footage. Remember that you can remove the watermark off of any video using Bilo, but I'm not going to be spending tokens just like that. So if I copy this image right here and go to, for example, Sora, I could just paste this and hit submit. And because the image already shows that pretty much there's almost like a feel there. You can feel who's the predator, who's the one that's being hunted. Okay. And the deer in the headlights in this case looks like the kangaroo. And so here you can see that you don't really need to add a prompt for ChatGPT to generate a pretty nice video for you. You can just put the image. Now here I failed to add like a landscape size, but it's okay. I think it should be able to generate a cool image. Now, there's not a lot of footage out there, for example, of a tiger versus bear, right? There's not a lot of footage. All right, you're definitely not going to find like a real life video, like a real one. This is definitely AI. I mean, you can see it's not real, but you won't find like a real one where there's like a bear fighting, against against a tiger. Now you could create one, and you can create one using Nano Banana. So if I were to go to a new chat, I could hit create button and pro. I could paste this image attached as a reference, and I'll say create a realistic image of a confrontation between a grizzly bear, actually not a grizzly bear, a polar bear, and a white Siberian tiger. Um, I would say use the attached image as a reference, and I'll let it cook. In which case, it should now have the image as a reference, so that will make it think, all right, well, I see that right now I could like create a pretty fantastic image right now because I already have something that looks like it. I just have to change the Bengal tiger into a Siberian one, and I have to change the bear into a polar bear. Now notice that this is what the result is. And if you observe this, you can notice that it really almost to the non-expert eye, it would look real. But to me, I can definitely tell if it's AI, okay? Because there's a bunch of things that give it away, like the color of the tiger. You can see it's a tiger that looks like it's mixed between white and whatever. So it doesn't give away to me. It doesn't show that it's real. Now, landscape, I'll paste this, and I don't have to say anything. I can just click on create a video, and it will proceed to do that. Now, what other things that you can do? Well, one thing you can do is, in case you really want to make something interesting, let's say, for example, that you have in mind, like, I don't know, you want to make like a comfort, like a UFC style viral video of someone fighting someone, or someone squaring off to fight someone. So if I go here and click create an image, I could say click create a 9 by 16 real life realistic HD image of, and then I could say something like a UFC face off between Andrew Tate and how about Fresh from Fresh and Fit. Both pictures are attached. So if I were to come over here to Google, I could search for like Andrew Tate picture. There's a lot of them, I would say. You definitely find a bunch. I'm interested to find like one that shows him kind of like as flexing his muscles as he always does. All right, so I'll take this one. And let's say I go and try to find a picture of Fresh. Now, it would actually be interesting to create one with Fresh, but as much as I would like that idea, let me try, something else. So instead of Fresh, I'll say Jake Paul. Jake Paul. Okay, and you can say Dana White is the organizer. Now let me just show you the true power. Now here I am afraid that I didn't click that pro button, so I'll have to start a new chat. Click on create an image. I'll copy the exact same prompt and I'll hit generate, but it should go ahead and do a crazy thing, right? Or generate some crazy looking videos. In the meantime, I think that one video is ready. This bear
in the quiet of the clearing, the kangaroo
it
pauses,
didn't work
alert
well,
ears catching.
and I can tell why. It's because I didn't go for that 16 by 9, 16 by 9 orientation landscape. So I'm going to go for the landscape next. But here, I want you to notice how real this looks. All right. And before you, notice how real that looks, I think I'm going to go and get my bear. And I'm going to let this, I'm going to work on this. By the way, here, you can generate deepfakes of Jake Paul by clicking on the Jake Paul character here. You can even create deepfakes of Sam Altman. And, they're kind of allowing people to use those things. All right. Now, in the meantime, let me just try this. I just want to see what the result will be. Okay. I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. I wouldn't try this one in Grok. But in Grok, you can also achieve some pretty fantastic results. But let's just for the sake of the example, um, let this one. I'm not sure if this is gonna process, by the way, because it might be subject to copyright. It might be subject to something that infringes on,
The frozen flats of the
All right.
On the frozen flats of the northern tundra, two apex predators size each other up. The polar bear, built
Probably thought that we're trying to make like a documentary. For that, I will recommend that you give it another shot. But in the meantime, let's go and keep exploring some of the crazy things that you can do, or some of the crazy things that I did using Google Gemini, just to kind of stretch your imagination a bit about the power of Google Gemini to create some really, really awesome deepfakes. And another thing. All right, let me just click here. I'm gonna go to YouTube Studio, and I'm gonna check. All right, I'm gonna check some content here. I need to get some ideas. All right, shorts. All right, so let's say popular or views. I'm gonna sort them out by views. All right, what else? So, for instance, in this one was crazy. I kind of used Gemini to create a deep fake of the Hulk, and then I made it look like the Hulk is doing what the Hulk does best. But the problem with these is that they have some music. I think I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to deactivate the music while I show you these. Let me see if I can do that. I think I could entire screen share audio or system audio. I don't think so because the mic is right above me. I think it's not gonna be easy to remove the music. Yeah, well, actually, I can. So here's an example of a deep fake, like the Hulk. Now, to do this, you have to ask Gemini to generate like an image of the Hulk standing next to a gorilla, and then you can make it seem like the Hulk punched the gorilla and just ran away, which looks crazy, right? And it can be really engaging. Now, you can also do some other cool stuff like this. For instance, here's an example. You can take a regular picture of like some two people doing uh, arm wrestling, and you can turn that into something completely different, like this. For instance, let me just deactivate the sound from this one first, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So if I go full screen with this one, here's an example. So that is the Hulk, something you can expect from him. And of course, these can easily be done using AI. I mean, even this one, for example, right? This one, I created a deep fake like a cat and a tiger hanging out as friends. All right, let's just break this down after I deactivate the music. All right, so you can see that looks like some footage, looks like camera footage of a cat and a tiger, or the cat brought a tiger home. All right, so these are just some ideas I'm kind of trying to give you here. But the most important thing that you have to really realize is the ability of these tools. I don't know why it didn't provide me with the result that I intended. This one, and I could probably maybe think that it has something to do, maybe not prompting. But if I use like another tool, now this is where I'm gonna have to introduce you to Grok as well, and why you need to know that Grok can also potentially generate interesting videos. So if I go and take the same image and paste it in Grok, first and foremost, it can generate the image immediately, or the video immediately, or just after a couple of seconds, and it usually does a pretty fine job. So for instance, here all I have to say: bear stalks the unaware kangaroo, and then I can just submit, let it work on that. I can go ahead and check on some of my other projects. It seems like these two were against the guardrails, and I can tell Why? It's actually because this one is like a, it's impossible for this to, you know, for Sora to generate a video for this, even though you could try to find a way. But if you do this with Grok, you're gonna have bad results. Now here, notice this, that it generated the video, but it made it look like the bear is actually a nice guy. So that's kind of weird. But it is what it is. All right. So now, apart from the deep faking and stuff, here's something you can do. So if I were to, let's just say, want to add some modifications to an image like this, well, here's the thing. You paste the image which you want to modify, you hit the create an image button, and then first of all, I'm going to say remove all text, because there is some text on the image that I don't want to be there. Okay. I only want to isolate the image. And then after this, I can start to add some modifications to it. Now, I can even give this guy some hair if I want to. I can remove his tattoo. I can, add, it's like Photoshop. Okay. I can give him a mohawk. All right. So the text has been removed. Now, what I'm going to say is remove his tattoos. Okay. Remove his tattoos. So we're just kind of modifying things a bit. And let's just wait and check this out. All right, eradicating the ink. Just showing you that you can take anything, turn it into anything, and then after that, you can take that and put it in a tool like Sora, and then you can have something that is crazy, something that is insanely good to the point where it might get you a lot of views. Now, here's how he would look like without the tattoos. Now, how about if I say remove his beard? Let's see how he looks like without the beard, okay? All right. So it's removing the facial hair. So you can really do crazy things, all right? You can do crazy things. Okay, so removing the facial hair, let's see. All right, now it has removed this facial hair, and this is how it looks like without the facial hair. Now, how about I say add a pink mohawk to his head. All right, so now it's gonna go and instead of the actually, because he doesn't have, so basically what it's gonna do is gonna apply the change, and you can do this for anything really. You can do this for anything. All right, let me just check this out. All right, so here it is. And if you want, you can make this into like a video. All right, but in any case, now let's go to a new chat. I was thinking about showcasing some really cool things. So if I were to click on create an image, let's do this. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna use the pro version. I'm gonna say create a realistic HD image of Cristiano Ronaldo riding a lion. It's a front close-up, or it's a front view picture in the stadium. Okay. So now it's going to go and create the image. Now, I didn't specify the size this time, but it's okay. And quite honestly, I don't think that Sora 2 will generate the image for me. But I do think that that Grok will generate the video, okay? After I get my image, I can generate a cool video with it. So here, notice, this is what we're talking about, this deep fakes. So I can copy this particular image right here, for example, paste it onto Grok, and then I can have Grok generate a cool looking video for this, all right? Now, I have to mention the name because he's quite famous and Grok already knows who Ronaldo is. So I can say, Ronaldo rides a lion to the football game. And I can hit submit, in which case it's going to proceed. Now, you can even do like some other stuff. Like for example, here I want to say the angle should be a close-up front view. Instead of this angle, we can modify it to like a front view angle of Ronaldo riding the lion. All right. And it's going to go and use Google Banana to actually do it. So this the lesson, of course, in this module is deep faking. Okay, so if you got it, you got it. All right. All right, here we go. Now, here's another image. This time it's a close-up, all right? And it's Ronaldo riding a lion. But let's go back to Grok because I want to show you like the in the video itself. So here we go. You can see that this looks amazing. You can even use this type of stuff that I'm teaching you right now to create like stories for certain videos. All right, now let's copy this. Again, I'm going to try to generate a pretty cool looking video with it. I'm not going to try Sora, as I said, because I don't think Sora is going to do a good job of it. But let's say I paste this and I say, Ronaldo rides a lion pet. Okay, and I'll just let it work on some magic there. While in the meantime, I'm trying to look for some cool stuff to generate. Now, how about these videos where you can see like a huge guy versus small guy? Okay, you could also do like these crazy deep fakes. Okay, and then now this one is absolutely a deep fake. All right, you can see this was even like badly photoshopped into this. All right, so it's not even good looking. It's not even a good looking deep fake. But you know, these do work. All right, like for example here, notice a bunch of images for you that you can utilize, and cool because that can help us make some interesting videos. Like for instance, this is on TikTok and it's a fake. Okay, so it was created with AI, but I'm not gonna be surprised to find that these are getting millions of views. It would be extremely possible. All right, so you can see that there is a market for this kind of stuff, so people are already doing it, right? Um, now there's a market for anything on TikTok, really, right? On TikTok, you can do a bunch of really, really interesting stuff, which you get the point. Now, how about if I want to like generate an image of a huge guy arm wrestling a smaller, like a less muscular guy? So let me just try this. Create an image of a huge, super tall bodybuilder arm wrestling a skinny guy in the gym. And then you can say it's a competition, okay? And then based off of that, you can turn it into a video using tools like Sora or Grok. Like for instance, here Grok has generated this amazing video of Mr. Ronaldo riding a lion inside the ring or inside the football game. This stuff is, what we call deep fakes. You could take it to the next level even. But here, notice that we have a pretty good image. And for example, let's say I copy this image into Sora, change the orientation to, okay, it says that my session has expired. All right, so as you can see, here is a pretty nice image. The session expired for some reason, but I'm going to try again. Okay, so in case instead of portrait, I'm going to go landscape. But this time I'm only going to do 10 seconds because it seems like for the 15-second ones, it doesn't work. And I'm going to say skinny guy wins the competition. And I was going to let it work on it. Hopefully it does the trick. But for the most part, it will reject my prompt. And simply because of one fact is that it might think that that is actually not a fake image. It might think that that is a real image of some people that I stole from the internet, even though that's not real. But the reason why Sora and other tools reject your prompts is because of that. Okay, it's because of this thing where they think that it's actually not what it should be. Now, okay, let's say for example, I'm gonna create an image, create a realistic 9 by 16 image of Ronaldo swimming with his buddy, the big, great white shark. Right. You can do some crazy things like this. Right. I mean, what you've learned right here, if you apply and use it the right way, you will be able to do some crazy things with it. Now, here, this is a pretty nice image. I'm not gonna lie, but I actually, by mistake, I didn't use the pro version of Gemini. That's why it didn't generate the perfect image for me, and it was certainly not a 9 by 16, but it could do it right now if I press it enough. All right, let's see. All right, so here now notice that this is completely different right now. It looks like it looks real, right? And of course, you know how to turn this into like a footage. You can use either Sora 2 or a Grok or even Kling AI if you have access to that or access to such a thing. Okie dokie. Now, what else do I really want to teach about this, about deepfakes and stuff? I'm not sure there's a lot that we need to cover, except for the fact that you've learned, a lot of cool stuff. I really don't know. Besides this, I don't think that there's really a lot that I need to show. I think I'm going to pause this tutorial right after this. Hopefully, it does generate the video first. Then I can pause it because I mean, deepfakes is deepfakes. And to me, I want to insist on one point that you need to take with you or take home is that Google Gemini is the mastermind when it comes to deep faking. Okay. If you want to generate some awesome deep fakes, it's Google Gemini. It's the one. I'm talking about Nano Banana Pro. Then you get images, and then you can take those images and do some really cool stuff with it. Like for example, here recently there's for example about Andrew Tate. There's this meme about Andrew Tate, right? Um, okay, so for example, I don't know, maybe you can take this image of him, all right? And if you go to create an image like Pro, you can paste the image. Now, okay, you can add add a Muslim round hat on his head. Of course, because he's Muslim. So, and I'm Muslim too, by the way. I'm not making fun of him, but I'm just showing you that you can do a lot of impressive, cool stuff. Okay, refining the Kufi integration. Okay, Kufi, that's pretty good. So they kind of have like some terminology here. So it's gonna take this image essentially, and it's just gonna apply an edit to it. All right, so I want you to watch this right now. Like, isn't this like some really cool thing? All right, so this is what this tool is capable of. This is what you have at hand. Like, I don't know. There's just a lot that I can really teach you. There's just a lot. Like, how about, for example, I take this image. It's not a very great quality image, but let's say I create an image based off of this. I go to Pro, I paste, and I say something like, dress them both like clowns. So instead of, that particular dress is going to ultimately dress them both like clowns. Or I can take like the guys from the Fresh and Fit, and I can dress them both as clowns. Okay. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not telling you to do this, but with deepfakes, you can pretty much do anything. Now, in the meantime, let me just check this out. I just want to see how this is going to turn out to be. It would be great to see them both as clowns. And besides, remember that you can use Grok for creating some cool deepfakes. Okay, let's just wait a second here. It's working on it. Conceptualize clown costumes. It would take some time, in some cases, not all the time, but in some cases, it would take some time. Okay. All right. So it's still working on it. You just wait. It's taking way too much time, I think. All right. I mean, you barely even recognize them, You barely even recognize them. But I mean, how about I just add like the clown nose. Add the clown nose to both. Instead of, like dressing them both as clowns, which is a little too extreme and kind of, quite frankly, it kind of even removed nobody's going to recognize them, because but you can do some like real cool effects like that, for example. It's infinite what you can do with Gemini deepfakes once you have some ideas and you really know what you want to do. But I'll leave it right there. I'll leave it at that. Okay. So here, this is, I mean, it's not a perfect edit, but it's a good edit. Okay. Now, let's say you want to do the same thing with the Fresh and Fit boys. You can just, like, for instance, copy this image and you can add a nose or add clown noses and clown hats to these guys. All right. And it will eventually go ahead and do it. And with that, we're gonna sum up the tutorial. I think we're having way too much fun with deepfakes. All right. This is just an example. Okay. Like, we'll close with another one. I don't want to close with the Fresh and Fit boys. The Eiffel Tower. Okay. Eiffel Tower. I have an idea. I want to close with it instead. Okay, so let's take a pretty decent image of the Eiffel Tower. I'm going to show you one interesting application for this Eiffel Tower. This doesn't look like a very good, it is a good image. Okay, so that's good. But I don't quite like the angle of it. I don't like the angle. I want to like this one. This one is better because the angle is a lot better for what I'm trying to do with it. This one is also pretty good. Okay, I'm gonna take that. But now here, go back. Now notice that it's a perfect edit. Okay, it's a perfect edit. Now enough of this. Let's go to new chat. Create an image. Pro. I could take like the Eiffel Tower, and then what you could do is something like I could say add King Kong to the picture. He is a bit taller than the Eiffel Tower. All right, so we know that King Kong is taller than the Eiffel Tower, right? I think he's a lot taller. Is he taller? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I want to make him taller, okay? Let's check this out and see. All right. This is the last thing we're going to do in this tutorial, and then it's going to close it. All right. So, I mean, it did an edit. It did its best, okay? So, it's not perfect, but it is good. It is actually good, okay? Not so bad. And you could definitely go and, use this. So that's it for this video, this deepfakes tutorial. Wishing you the best as always. Passive Income Gen Z signing out.